Welcome to the UKBC interviews, where budgies come first. And congratulations on your BS Spring event. You must have been very proud and honoured to have won.
Yeah, it was incredible, and thanks for inviting me along to have an interview with the UKBC. Yeah, we're still really thrilled. It was a complete surprise, and yeah, it was a bit of a surreal weekend.
Yeah, I'd never forget my first win, but not best in show, I would have to say. But yeah, I got best opposite sex, and it was something to be proud of. So, okay, so let's crack on with some questions then. Yeah. So how did the budgies start? How did you get into the hobby?
Well, I've always had budgies. We've had an aviary since I can remember, to be honest, in the bottom of the garden. I believe the story is my dad wanted pigeons, but you couldn't have them in the back garden. You needed to have them in an allotment. So he realised that you could have budgies, you see. So he got a couple of pair from a local breeder, and that was it. So I don't remember not having birds.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So we've always had them, and we've had all sorts. I mean, we've always had the budgies, but I'd go to like a cage bird show and then want some zebra finches or want some kakarikis, or
yeah.
I think we had a pair of quails at one point that just made a racket. You know what I mean? So yeah, we've always had the birds in the garden. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been without birds in a garden of some sort. I must have brought up on racing pigeons. So
oh wow,
yeah.
Right, yeah.
So so there must have been a moment that you actually sort of realised you wanted to do the show birds. You know, and was that by going to a show or anything like that?
Yeah, well, when my dad always used to support the shows, you know, he liked to go and steward at the club show, but then he would also take a few birds along. But he never really took the exhibition side so seriously. He just liked catering, like looking after the birds and enjoying the birds. But he did his little bits to support the exhibition side of it as well. But it was sort of, to be honest, it was just before lockdown. My dad, through stewarding at the club show, he met a guy called Rolly Thwaite, and he said, we'll sort out some birds and you can have a proper go at it, you know what I mean? And I'd always went along as well and enjoyed the birds and sort of got an eye for what a good budgie was, etc. So we said, right, well, let's start afresh. We've got some new birds and see how we get on. And that was it, really. And that's how I sort of got into it properly, so to speak, you know.
Yeah, so you really are fresh to the show hobby as such, from a breeding side, rather than you know, you've always been around it. But that's even more impressive.
Yeah, well, I've been like you say, I've been amongst it, sort of thing, you know. I went to the shows and sort of got a vague idea of how it works, but yeah, this was actually my official first show as a breeder. So yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah,
that is something to go right. Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, oh, that's great. Right, so we've got some photographs we can have a look at. So if we share those, and you talk us through them, and I'll click over.
Well, so, first of all, that's Anna on the step of the
head of security. I expect
head of security. Yeah, exactly. So this is a bird. This is like a brick building in the back of the garden that we've always had. The birds have always been in there, but it's like a garden room for my mum, really, which has washing machine, tumble dryer in this side. But at the gable end there, where the big window is, there's a bedroom, which is sort of 3.5 meters by 3.5 meters, and it used to have an outdoor flight on the end attached to it, but that we sort of blocked that in a while ago now, really. But yeah, so that's the entrance to the bedroom, and it's at the end of that.
And is this at your? Do you still live with your parents, or?
Yeah, so this is at my mum and dad's. Yeah, so I should explain, really. So the nature of my job is I'm a freelance opera singer, so I travel around all the time.
Oh, right.
So this is a real partnership. So my dad does the real all the donkey work really while I'm away. But I'm about to move to Leeds and sort of settle down. So I'm only like an hour and 20 minutes away from where the bedroom is, which is at my mum and dad's house.
Right. Okay. And it looks like your mum and dad like the gardening as well.
Oh yeah.
So that helps. Always
Shout
looks
out to
nice,
my
doesn't
mum,
it?
keeping it all tidy there. Lovely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah. So we have like, and we've got cameras on it and all sorts and locks and alarms and all that stuff going on.
Excellent.
So I think the next one you'll see. Yeah. So
that's your Aviary.
That used to be an outdoor flight when I was a kid. Yeah. So we used to have all sorts of birds in there as well, and they would fly. Yeah. But we blocked that in because I think, I think outdoor aviary sort of went out of fashion a little bit. I think, I don't know what it was.
Anyway. You're right. I mean, I've had aviaries and outdoor flights up until probably beginning of lockdown, really, when I took some flight panels down, and it was entirely shot. It was completely and utterly rotten.
Yeah.
And in the end, I decided to build a store rather than a flight. So and I think the modern day birds as well, they aren't as good as flyer as we'd like to think.
No.
And there is a trend to change that, but it's going to take time.
Definitely. And I also think we're trying to control variables, aren't we? So if we sort of take out sort of the outdoor, our climate is not ideal, really, is it? I suppose it would be. So I think maybe that's what it was. But that's what I inherited, sort of thing. When I started with my dad, was a flight, an indoor flight as opposed to an outdoor. Yeah.
Excellent.
So this is our little bedroom.
Yeah.
We have 2 banks of 9 breeding cages, stock cages, which have dividers in, so we can split them up.
Yep.
And that's how we set the cage up. We've got water, outdoor, outside cedars, hoppers,
Yeah, are they the Riverside? Is it Riverside ones?
That's them, yeah. So we just try and keep as much as we can on the outside, and then just a finger draw for the soft food. But so there we went for it's a good view of the cages, the nest boxes, the oystering ones.
Yeah.
They've been a humongous change to our breeding setup. They were an investment over lockdown, they were excellent.
Is that just from the cleanliness, or do you actually think you're getting better results?
That's it. It's a cleanliness and hygiene thing. Yeah. So I inherit, sort of like when I went in a partnership with my dad, and we started with the new birds, and sort of inherited a lot of problems that sort of were there in the bedroom, but never came to light, really. Right. When it wasn't, when we weren't taking it so seriously. Do you know what I mean? So we realized there was red mite, so we had old wooden nest boxes.
Yeah. So
that was one of the first things, was like, right, how do we control the situation? You know what I mean? And one of the ways we did it was investing in some really top quality nest boxes.
Yeah. Red mite's one of those things. It's if you think you've got rid of it, think again. That's the way I learned. I learned the hard way. I thought, I got rid of it. Great. 6 months later, oh Christ. But
exactly.
But
that comes down to routine.
Yeah. Oh, without shadow of a doubt. Yeah. I've just bought a fogger. But it's very loud, shall we say? So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use it yet. But no, those cages look really good. I mean, they've got the aluminium surrounds and that. So
that's right. Yeah, and I think I've got So there's the other side of the bedroom. Underneath, I must say, by the way, I'm in some amazing company. The last 2 talks you did were fantastic, and that's like you talking to Jose Mourinho and Jurgen Klopp.
I know.
When you're talking to me, I'm a complete novice. So
no, not at all.
I hope that I can sort of help the newer the novices, because it's still fresh in my mind, all the little things that maybe the top champions would just sort of take for granted, really. You know what I mean? So
that's why I want to do such a broad spectrum of interviews as well, because people don't think red mite and things would necessarily affect them because they've got a garden aviary and they've never seen it. Well, actually, it probably could be one of the worst things going,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that sort of it becomes to light, and it's maybe it's not as obvious stuff like like having the hopper, the feeders on the outside of the cage, so you're not always going in the cage all the time. I think it's a good tip for a novice. You know what I mean? It's just and I think, and like underneath there you can see the seed bins.
I was going to say, are they dad made or are they?
They're dad modified,
yeah. They look great. You
can see with the casters on and the handles, they're magic. So that's a waste bin and a seed bin and a millet bin and some wild bed seed. So pull it out, push it back in, hoover it. They're great, So
they look.
I would recommend them highly. I'm trying to think what else. What else have I wrote down here? Yeah, storage bins. And and the perches we use in the breeding cages, we use maple wood perches.
Oh, right.
The budgies don't eat them; they don't chew them,
Yeah.
And so they won't. They're not going anywhere. You're not going to end up with half a perch one day, which happens a lot in breeding cages.
And what shape perches do you have? Square.
The square. Yeah. But we also, by the breeding kit, by the nest box, we have a little plastic,
twist on
round one. So they've got a choice. So we have that as well. Yeah. So them perches are fantastic because you can scrape them clean as well.
Yeah. It's a very hard wood, isn't it? So I like to have a square perch on the opposite side of the box because I believe that's where they mate. Most of the time, every time I've seen mine mate.
And they get the good grip then, don't they? It's great.
Yeah. No, it looks really good. And I notice your whiteboard, is that your sort of stock control as such, or?
That's it, yeah. I can leave the boss a note, leave them a note while I'm away. And that's also, it's a map of the bedroom as well. So it's hard to tell there, but it's just a basic drawing of the two banks of 9 and what bed is in each cage, essentially. That's all it is, just to keep a track of things. And also we write on there the last time we fogged, the last time we trekked for we used Ronovit, and the last time we bought seed, so we can just keep an eye on it.
Yeah, that's good. And I noticed, you got the same, I think you've got the very same drinkers as me as well. So do you do fresh water every day?
Yeah, it's from the tap. We know people have went to bottled water. But it's one of those things. There's so many things at first that you can change and tweak. We're going to do it slowly, and at the minute, tap water is working absolutely fine. So we're just rolling with that. We know if other people use something else, but they're blue. Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that I went through a terrible period, so I've just about changed everything that you can possibly think of and gone back to the start.
Really?
Honestly, keep it basic is my motto now. Honestly,
keep it simple, stupid. Yeah,
everything, and I like clean, fresh water every day, so everything goes in the food. Simple as that.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fresh water every day.
Yeah. But no, I do like those Austringer boxes, must admit. But my boxes are down the side of my cages because I've got a wire. So I'd have to modify something like that, and I can't justify paying that money to modify something. So
no, and I will say just one more thing about the boxes. If people have seen them on the internet, they can be huge. Ours we got made to be a bit smaller. They're 180.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they're not like big square boxes.
I must admit, I thought they were one size. He couldn't make anything different. That's interesting.
Yeah, so they're 180 by 250 by 250. So they're just nice and slim. That they fit. We can still open the door to to the cage, that was an issue. So
yeah, I must admit, I like a deep box. Mine are sort of 11 inches inside. So
oh, that's good.
yeah,
Yeah. No, it helps to protect the youngsters if they jump too soon.
Yeah, that's right. Especially in wire cages. Although I don't run a cold shed anymore, but it's comfortable, you know. So.
Yeah.
No, it looks really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, the surrounds would make a big difference because take them out easy clean, aren't they? So yeah,
that's it. Yeah. And that's the little flight. It's a half flight. Yeah. And so that used to be an outdoor flight, but it's all sort of.
I was just going to ask, is that sort of looking now into what you had as an outside flight?
Yeah.
Looks
and
good.
we went for half flights because it's the convenience of cleaning.
Yeah, I must admit I've got one big flight now, and then I've got 2 or 3 half flights. But birds tend to move around my shed in stages. You know, so. And is that a dehumidifier or?
Yeah, that's a humidifier. Yeah.
Oh, a humidifier.
Yeah. So this was it last year? It might have been this time last year. Was it the year before? I can't remember anyway, but we had an issue with hatching dead in shell in pit, and you know, just not being able to get out. And I think, oh my god, we're losing all these pinkies, and it's just, and we had to look around. I went for that just to up the humidity in the bedroom, and it did work briefly. But then we didn't need it. So the weather changed and everything was fine, you know. So we've not used it so much. We'll do it if we see the humidity drop, you know.
I must admit, I've gone a bit OTT on the humidity side, and again, I've come back to square one with it really, because I bought some little monitors that go inside the nest box.
Wow, that's brilliant.
You know, but the trouble was I didn't understand what I was trying to achieve.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's under the hen, not above the hen, and I got myself in the right pickle, so I've just let them get on with it. But hatching is something that drives me up the wall. I think the poor hen sat on those eggs all that time, and then to not get the chicks out, or what was happening to mine was they were hatching, but they weren't hatching properly, so they were dying like 1, 2, or 3 days. And
I think as like a novice, or anyone really, you see this happen in your bedroom, and think, right, you know, I need to react and do something about it. You know, I want to help, and I think that's fine, and you should do your research. But like you say, sometimes there's literally nothing you can do about it.
No, because what I found was, what I thought I was doing was I was spraying the nest box, bringing up the humidity, getting one to hatch, but then the next 2 probably drowned because it was too humid, and I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. But
so you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
But now, that is a humidifier, and it does come on if it drops. If it drops below a certain humidity, it'll kick in, you know.
And I can see your dad's very inventive as well, because I'm assuming that just pushes back into the cupboard out the way.
Correct.
He's a
joiner, so I'm glad you're spotting all these little things there. That's excellent.
No, he's good. He's good. Yeah.
Yeah, you like.
I must admit, this hanging nest box, sort of mimic nest box in the middle, is something that I keep on meaning to build myself, actually. Because I think one thing I've learned, and I try and teach people that I help, is you've got to sit and watch the birds. They'll tell you more about when they're ready to breed by sitting and watching something like this than thinking, oh, you know, the seer's ready and she just looks like she's ready. So that is something I'm going to do, I think.
Yeah, good. I remember you saying in one of your talks before, the amount of hens you've used with a white seer. She told you she was ready to breed, so you did it.
Yeah,
you know?
That's right.
Observing the birds rather than just going on hearsay, really. You know
what prompted that was a hen that laid in the flight, as white as white. I hadn't even given her a second thought because it was as white as white. And she laid in the flight. I found the cockpit where she was paired up with, put them down, and they bred my best birds that year. And actually, I can go back to that pair that are now I'm seeing the rewards from with some of the birds. you know, and I would never have done it otherwise, you know.
Yeah,
So
well, yeah, that wasn't in the rule book, was it?
no,
But you
no, it wasn't.
went for it. It just shows you, doesn't it? You know.
And you got night lights as well?
Yeah, we've got like a red light that comes on just to help
Yeah.
them get ready for bed, sort of thing. And
And I
go
can
on.
see sort of mainly sort of normals, opalines, and pieds. Is that?
Yeah, that would say. I mean, we're not that exciting at the minute, really, with varieties.
Yeah.
It's mostly normals. I mean, now, yeah, we've got one spangle, a few pieds maybe, but that's the very beginning of a line we've tried to start.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're pretty not cautious. I mean, we're not doing it through choice, to be honest. We just we tried to choose good beds when we started, and
Yeah. No,
we
that's it.
we went for visual rather than
Pedigree.
variety.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. 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 I must admit, I never worry. I mean, I think I've got one opaline in the box at the moment, and the rest are normals, cinnamons, or spangles. It's been a spangle year this year for sure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, but again, I don't necessarily want a shed full, but you know, I just want the quality to come through, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Now, yeah, I took a picture of this because this is another idea we had. So again, for combating red mite, which I believe is such a huge, you might as well forget it. You know, if it's so bad, you might as well forget it because it's just too demoralizing. And it really wasn't our first year. But we're just sort of winning the battle now. And we're certainly winning the battle, you know. But one of the big things was these perches we came up with in the flight. So these are the perches we use in the breeding cages, right? But we've put them on a ladder, and they're never flush.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You haven't got them rammed against a wall or rammed against an aviary panel. So exactly. Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Even the bottoms, if you look at the bottom of the ladder, the flat isn't on the bottom.
No,
it's the tip of the, you know, it's the angle. So there's as little surface area as possible. And it's sort of winning the battle, sort of thing, you know. And the chain at the top, there's no wood there, you know.
That's right. Yeah. And do you don't have bedding in your flights?
No, we put. I mean, I must say that is just being cleaned, obviously.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so it just gets chaff and whatever. Yeah. We don't put any bedding down.
I'm the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I find that if you start putting, I found that if I put something on the floor, I'm a bit. It doesn't make me lazy, but I think, I'll leave it for this week. I'll do it next week, and then you've realised it's all built up, and you've got to get rid of it. But now all I do is scrape and hoover. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Often, regular and often, I think.
Yeah,
better.
That's it.
Yeah.
And keeps the dust down as well, I find.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that's how we feed them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so a tray in a tray, so you can catch all the waste seed, I suppose. Is that?
Yeah. So that's a ceramic dish, but that in like a plastic dish.
Yeah.
From a ready-made. But it works really well, actually. I know it looks like we've tried loads of different things. We've even had like a big seeder, like with loads of seed in it, and they jump on a perch but actually that is so good. And there's nowhere for the mite to hide either, you know.
No, that's it. Exactly. You start hanging things on the wall, gets behind. No, I've done the full circle from hoppers to things, and now I'm on seed trays. Just popped up off the floor, bit of domestic earth underneath, and I put it through my widowing machine every Saturday.
Nice, yeah, exactly. And then maybe sometimes we'll just spread the seed around. You know, if we're going to clean and scrape the following day or the 2 days time, we let them be the winnower, so to speak. You know, because
forage it.
Budgies are ground foraging birds, aren't they? You know, so they're actually the best at it.
Yeah.
So they'll find the seed for you.
Yeah. Light green looks quite nice there.
He's nice. That's not ours. That's a bird we brought in when we first started, and he's still going. He's the oldest bird in the shed.
Yeah.
He's only ever bred one for us. But it's a nice one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we persevere. That's another lesson for novices. Just keep trying them. You know, just don't there's no good at sat in your aviary. Just keep giving him a go, and he'll eventually do it. You know,
Do something. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Excellent.
That's the breeding cage fronts. Yeah. So they come apart, so we can dismantle them if we want. Them, you know, in the corners.
Yeah.
And that's one of the places we had mite when we first started. So what we did was dismantled them, dip them in check mite, put loads of what's it?
The paint on the
the earth. You know.
Domestos earth.
Yeah.
Diatomaceous earth. Yeah.
Filled them full of that, and they're no more. There's no mite there.
That's good.
But they're great. It's a really good way of just making sure you can clean the fronts.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anyone else with them. That's why I put a picture on, because they're a bit different, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of these aviaries these days, Sam Wilds and Rosemary aviaries and all that, they make all of the out of these corners and this box section, don't they? Yeah.
Yes. That's right. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Well, I would recommend putting some of that diatomaceous earth in the corners.
Did you put it in a little bit of water first, or just because obviously
we used to have Milban?
Yes. Yeah.
Like the paint.
Yeah.
Well, but no, we did that in the corners, but we just put it in as powder. I know people who keep chickens just dust, you know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and it works.
Yeah, I put that on under the concaves in my boxes until the chicks hatch. But
yeah. So that's the front, and they just go on. Yeah, they just go on like that.
Yeah.
There they are. There's my dad putting it on. My glamorous assistant there.
Yeah, that's it.
You can see the Milban on the corner. Look, prepped.
Yeah, that's funny enough. That's what I was going to say. It's got a sort of painted Milban on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as easy to get hold of now, that Milban. I think there is a new supplier, but yeah.
Yeah. So
who's this?
No, that's a foster mother, but I think it's a good. So you can see the earth that I've dusted in the nest box there.
Yeah.
It's just a good view of the how we like to keep the breeding the nest box, you know.
I do like those concaves though. They're nice and deep, aren't they?
Yeah. I don't know what wood it is though. We need to find out.
Yeah. No, knowing them, it will probably be it is a hardwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that we keep them we try and keep them as clean as that.
Yeah.
I got that idea from watching the Lutoff video.
Yeah.
I know how hygienic his boxes are. You know, there's nothing left to chance.
No. And do you take the concave out and put a flat piece in at a certain age with the chicks?
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. Yeah. So to try and keep them in the box a bit longer, we got that idea from Nick Freakley, who used to have the oystringer boxes.
Yeah.
All he does is put a bit of cardboard in the bottom, dust it with the DE, and shot a load of bedding material in, and that keeps them in for another week or so, another couple of weeks.
That's good.
So yeah, it's great, and it works brilliantly, and it's clean, and you can just take them out. You know, as soon as you're done with the box, you can clean them, just like the new show cages. It's the same thing, same material, because that's where all the action happens. You know, that is your nest boxes are so important. If you haven't got them under control, I would say you find a losing battle. I think that's where a lot of the problems come from. French molds, you know, any sort of stress.
Yeah.
If they're not right, then you'll be struggling. So we like to keep them very clean.
Good. Yeah.
And she was a great mother.
Yeah. Okay, so let's have a good old chat about what you've got in that cupboard then.
Well, yeah. So you can see the fogger there on the big blue thing.
Yeah.
That's a fogger. So we bought that before COVID, and I think COVID, then foggers were in, weren't they, for COVID? Do you know what I mean?
I think that started by somebody putting something on Facebook, didn't they? I think perhaps Paul Stannard or somebody like that had all of a sudden was showing how they fogged and everything, and it went bang. I mean, it's taken me this long to get mine, but
but what I mean is you couldn't get hold of them, but then people started stocking them because businesses were trying to fog
Oh, I
for
see. Yeah, for COVID. Yeah, I
coronavirus.
see what
Yeah.
you mean. Yeah, yeah, they were. Yeah,
So they became available, but so that one is like a big industrial one, and to be honest, it is overkill for our tiny bedroom. But we fog with, oh, I think you can just about make it out in the pictures. The AIL,
Yeah.
avian insect.
that is the best stuff on the market for
Yeah,
mite.
it's a must-have, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just so expensive. In my aviary, it's like if I waste any of it, I'm gutted. It's
Yeah,
just so expensive. But yeah, it is good. And
it's
do
brilliant.
you fog with the F10 as well?
Yeah. We sort of go one on, one off, really.
Yeah.
Just swap.
Yeah.
Just keeps everything clean and keeps.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have any insects in the bedroom.
No,
we
I
thought,
found. I was gonna say I found that even sort of 6 weeks later, I'd go in and find a dead spider after doing the AIL.
and you think, oh, brilliant, it's working.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You
yeah,
just know.
Yeah, no, it's great stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
F10 there. Yeah, we've still got one of it, so we've got some left, so we're using it, but we need to find a different way of going about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Kevin will give you. I think he's done a paper because it's down to the active ingredient being the right percentage for the budgies. So it's not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily matter what the product is, as long as you're happy with that product. It's that percentage of that active ingredient.
Whatever that ingredient is.
Yeah.
Once we all fathom that out, we'll be rocking and rolling, won't we? Because we use that we use that quarterly.
Yeah, that's every 3 months or so, isn't it? Yeah.
And we're coming up to that next week, so we're going to do that. And the other thing, you mentioned Kevin Eatwell, he was a huge, huge help to us this time last year, was Doxycycline.
Right.
Unbelievable. Like it was a real turning point. Like we bred some nice birds. The bird that went to that won last 2 weeks ago. And all of our birds had snotty noses. And we were like, what is going on? It wasn't one of it. It wasn't
trichomoniasis.
Anyway, I got in touch with Kevin and he said, you need to use Doxycycline. And we 45 days, and I'm thinking, oh no, what 45 days? And sure enough, day by day, these birds just come back. It was absolutely amazing. So we're indebted to Kevin. It was fantastic, and we're still using it. So Doxycycline, I can't recommend any highly.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So and I see the Miltons there. So do you sterilize your drinkers and that in Miltons?
Yeah, my dad likes to ruin the drinkers every year.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do.
Every 6 weeks or so.
It's like nuclear warfare, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's going to be clean or it's
exactly not. Yeah. Whether or not it works, I mean, it's good. We don't have any problems with the drinkers. It works. It just makes them look. It stains them, but it's fine.
Well, I use a tablet form, and it doesn't discolor mine at all.
Oh, that's a good tip.
I mean, they're only a Tesco's one as well, but they're exactly the same thing.
Right.
And they use them for babies' bottles and that.
Yeah.
But what I tend to do is I have a set soaking overnight.
Yeah.
And then a set in use, if you see what I mean. So it's just two sets on a cycle. So.
Oh, right. That's a good idea. Yeah. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. Anything to make my life easier, because by the time I get home, it's time to feed the birds and then feed myself. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah. For novices, you want it to be streamlined. You don't want to. It's lovely to spend all day in there, and it is fun. That is great. I love doing that. But when you can have it, where the birds would be safe and sound if you spent half an hour and you were able to. They were all fine, looked after them. That's great. That's what you want to get it down to, really. Well, it's for us because we only have like 80 birds, so that's sort of what we have. Time wise.
I think if it becomes a chore as well, then you get fed up with it quite quickly, don't you?
Yeah, and you don't want that. You want to be enjoying the birds, not.
That's right. Okay. Oh, the big
Oh,
question. What do you feed?
well, Kevin Eatwell's going to kill us here because to be honest, this is one of the massive things we copied. I mean, what can you do at the beginning? You just copy someone, don't you? We copied the Millers and the Lukes. I mean, works for them. We visited the Millers. We didn't buy anything, but we had a great look around and just was like, oh, wow, this is how you do it. Okay. Saw the video of his dad making the soft food on the EBF forum, you know, and we just copied it. I mean, that was it, really. So it's got everything that they had. Then I visited Tom Luke, and it was basically the same. So I took his recipe, and we do what they do, really. You'll be able to find an ingredient sheet somewhere, but there's all sorts in it.
Yeah, yeah. And then obviously with your birds, you know, some of these pots of stuff must last a good little while, but I'm always concerned of the actual cost, you know, and are we putting too much into the birds? But like you say, if the results speak for themselves, then clearly not, you know.
Yeah, I know. And I wish I knew why I was putting this in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where I want to get to.
Yeah.
But I've not done it for long enough to know yet.
No,
but
right.
I know it works, so I'm not going to touch too much.
Yeah,
really, once we start running out of things, I'll leave it out, see if it changes anything.
Right.
That's what I'll do, probably, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got all the horse products in it and all sorts, frosties and all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I actually keep you going back to Kevin Eatwell. I mean, I listed out what my soft food was to begin with because I was having all these problems, and you know, literally put lines through some of them and said, "Why aren't you giving this? How about trying this?" And I actually sort of listed what we were talking about, and in the end, I came up with one chicken food called Guavo. It's got everything in it.
Oh wow, right.
So I was like, okay, and I've not looked back since, really. But that's not to say that I couldn't do with a tweak or two, because I'm still getting. Yeah. Wow. And if you look at the ingredients, it's got vitamin D3, it's got this in that, and you know, everything they need. You know, it's for laying hens. So
yeah, that's great.
You know,
if we can crack the soft food, we're onto something, you know. But at the minute, this is what we do. And
that's it. And like you say, if you just take one thing out or adjust one thing at a time, you've got chance then to analyze it.
Yeah.
If you change too much in one go, you won't know where you are. So and
I'd also say that the birds where we initially got the birds from were fed this mixture. So that was one of the reasons we copied it as well, because we were like, right, we don't want to upset anything here. We want to keep it as similar as possible. Do you know what I mean? So, I would say that is another thing to bear in mind for novices when they're buying birds. Yeah. Find out what your, the breeder was feeding them.
Yeah. Because sometimes if you come down off a diet like this, it's pretty much must be like a crash almost, you know.
Can you imagine? It must have been. So I think it's important to find that out.
Yeah, definitely. Right, away you go.
Well, that's the winner from when he was 4 weeks old.
He had lots of potential there as well, didn't he?
He did, didn't he? Yeah. I love this. What I would say at the beginners as well, novices, is take pictures of your budgies. It's great, you know, especially when they're barheads.
Because you can see what you're looking for in a barhead, can't you? You know, sometimes you just sort of you see something in a barhead and you just can't quite put your finger on it.
No, exactly.
And if you've taken a photograph of it, it's a record, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, my phone, God blimey, I don't know how many photos are on there, too many. But it's 99.9% birds, you know.
I had my phone stolen like 2 days ago while I was at work.
Oh
and
no.
I managed to get it back. I actually got it back with Find My Phone, but I was thinking, it's going through my mind. I was like, they're going to go on the phone and it's just full of butchery cats, and I want them back.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you were lucky there then.
I
Crumbs.
want all these butchering cat pictures back because I need them
Yeah.
for my
You can
records. You know,
keep the phone. I just want the
keep the
pictures.
phone, please. Just give us the birds back.
Excellent.
Yeah, but I would. This is a really good tip. I would take pictures of them because,
Yeah.
yeah, you need to know because you'll get rid of birds too early. You'll get rid of birds that you thought were marvelous and then they didn't turn out to be anything because you were maybe looking at the wrong thing as a bird. But for instance, this, we knew he was good, but we thought he's got small spots. You know, he's got to have tiny spots. We were so wrong. He has great spots. So we could have thought, well, he's in the sale. You know, well, we wouldn't have thought that, but
no.
You know,
but
we could have been disheartened and maybe got distracted by other birds. And if you had a lot of birds, you might have weirdly not made the cut somehow before the molt or something weird. You know, something could have happened. So I would definitely sort of track their progress.
Yeah. I mean, this is my first year of actually saying that is barhead. It's not good enough. It goes in the sales already. And that it's the first year I've ever done it. And we'll see what happens. But but no, he's lovely there. So
yeah, that was him at 4 weeks, and there he is. That was him the day after the show.
Yeah,
so
that is some set of spots, isn't it? From
exactly. So that's it, isn't it? That's. I mean, I'm having to remind myself that today when I was looking at barheads, I was like, oh, it's lacking spot. And I thought, well, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Just hang on. You know, just wait.
That's right.
But yeah, that's him. We've named him Caruso because I'm a tenor. I'm an opera singer, and Caruso was the first famous Italian opera singer. So we thought he's our first winner of any sort. He's going to be called Caruso, so that's him, number 77. Yeah, he's just and that we took him straight out of a breeding cage because the spring event was in the middle of breeding season. So I mean, what were we supposed to do?
Yeah,
all of your best birds are paired up because that's what you do. So he just went from the breeding cage.
Wow. He went straight back to his hen, did he?
Straight back, yeah. He was delighted. She was wondering where the hell he'd been for 2 days. 3 days, 2 days. My dad was there all week.
Yeah. And have you got chicks off of him?
Yeah, we've got 8.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, he's doing the business and he's got 3 full eggs now again.
Brilliant.
So we're at this point now, like what do you do? Like, do we give him another girlfriend? You know, do we pair him up with a new hen? But he might not get on with her. And they're sorted with this one. But then we don't want a load of just brothers and sisters.
No, in a small stud, it's very difficult, isn't it? I mean, this year I'm going to have a lot of cousins, so I'm going to, have some decisions to make. But I mean, have you seen something in his chicks yet, like you did him as a barhead?
Yeah, they've all got that. They've all got that grey capping straight away without trying, which is a massive help. Yeah, some of them have got huge spots straight from the outset, like adult spots. Some of them have got the tiny spots, and that's why I was like, right, just hold your horses because they might come in, But they're all very similar to him. Yeah, it's great.
That's good.
He's paired to a half sister. On his dad's
right, okay.
side. So my thought is to pair him to a new hen that's totally unrelated, just to get a little bit more, just to get a bit of new blood in there,
Yeah.
Use an outcross from our own shed, but it's totally unrelated.
Yeah.
Like Kevin was saying in his genetics talk, if you want a bit of vigor, you need that. You need to keep the blood different,
Yeah, that's right. You get too close, you just end up going down the wrong path, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we don't want.
Yeah.
That's his brother at 4 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a great pair. But the mother and father just were brilliant for us.
Yeah.
I thought his brother was going to be better, actually. I don't know why. I just caught my
He's
eye,
got,
and he is.
he's got a little bit more width about the face, isn't he? But he hasn't got. I mean, from the picture, he hasn't
Yeah,
got the blow and the rise of the brother. But
yeah.
still a
But that's
very useful
yeah,
bird.
that's what we were working with at 4 weeks last year.
Yeah.
So we were chuffed, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, he went to the show and he did well. But he was young, you know. He's young and he's a
Yeah.
bit younger, so he's got a bit of development to do. He's paired up at the minute as well, but he's not filled an egg. But we'll persevere. We're not too stressed. We know the family's very fertile, so
Yeah.
I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, it's like I've got a couple of birds, dark green and a sky blue. The sky blue hasn't filled yet, and the dark green unfortunately filled 4 eggs and they all addled. So,
Right?
but both hens were young as well. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. There's a trend developing here, I think, isn't there?
yeah,
Cinnamon grey. Yeah.
yeah,
They're all their half sisters,
right.
and I just thought it was a cool photo, so I took a picture. So
I call those the Pete Merritt photos because Pete does them very good. His birds are very tame and very calm, and he can line them up on a perch and
yeah.
take a photo.
Well, I would say that's the thing for novices to do as well. Handle the barheads, handle them and get them used to it. So then the less hassle when they're older as well if you do that. So I would encourage that. Handle them and they realise you're not a threat.
I can't stand a wild budgie. You put your hand in the cage and crash, bang, wallop.
No. So yeah, these were all fine. I just picked them up, plonked them on. They were only 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So they weren't going very far at that age, but so what we did was the father of the 2 cinnamon cocks, we then put to a different hen, unrelated hen, and we bred 6 sisters. These all turned out to be hens. There's 2 others, 2 slightly younger, and we kept them. So we've got a load of half sisters. So this original cock that we bought from Mick Freakley.
Yeah, I mean every single one of those has got a different feature, haven't they? Every single one, and but they've all got that nice directional feather just just across the eye. No, they're lovely.
And that developed, and the father had that. That was a trait that he had, but he was tiny. He's quite small bird. We still got him, and he's still filling eggs.
Yeah,
but he's very small for a champion. They have better birds, so and that's one of the things I would say for novices buying is go to someone you trust and someone you like the birds of. See what they have in the shed, what the general quality is across the shed, and try and. You're not going to buy the best birds, but you can certainly find a bird that will work for you.
Did you see the parents of the small cock bird?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. He's clearly a very potent cock bird. So keep him going. It's lovely.
And the hen he went with was from Robbie Keeber, and it was just the hen he went with for these hens. That I would never have picked the hen. Never.
Wow.
Robbie, I was pure green, totally green. And they always say get a poo, the lesser sibling, and you think no, surely that is not the case. But I promise you, she's still in our bedroom. You wouldn't look twice at her, but she's one of the most important birds in the shed because I saw her brothers, her sisters, her mother and father. Saw them, and she was the quality was so good. And she just didn't make the grade. She was nowhere near, and she was a barhead.
Yeah.
She came home with me and just let her fly around the flight for a couple of months, and then she went in the breeding cage and was great.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's one of the sisters. That's molted out.
Very nice.
Yeah, she went to the show last BS Spring show as well, and she did pretty well. She's a nice bird, she lacks a bit of spot maybe, but
nice
she's
and
got
clean.
Yeah, broad, not too big.
Yeah.
This is one of the things as well I was going to say about novices. I think you go online and you see loads of these huge birds, these huge champion birds, and it can become a bit. I think you can get a bit despondent, I think, as a beginner. But if you listen to the champions, a lot of them are trying to bring their birds back a little bit.
Yeah.
So my thought was, well, why don't I meet them on the way down? So if I've got little birds, so let's say, and they're trying to, why can't we meet in the middle somewhere? If their problem is bringing them back, well, my problem is just nudging them on a bit. So I think for beginners, don't be despondent when you think, well, my birds are too small. Well, it's fine. You can meet the champions on the way down a little bit, because they're trying to make their birds maybe a bit more stylish and a bit more refined.
Yeah, that's it. They're refining them, aren't they? I mean, David Wone, he's always told me, never worry about size or spots and things like that. It'll all come. As you widen the mask, you're widening the spot. So the spot will naturally get bigger, it's obviously got to be paired right, obviously, but yeah, and he's right. In 3 years since probably 4 years since I sort of started going to David, and my birds have moved on,
and he's got some fantastic birds.
And it's just that you start looking at fine details as well,
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Right, so that's the pairing that we're using this year. So that's him with one of his sisters that was perched on the little.
Oh
pad.
yeah.
That was just to show you. So
that's half brother, half sister.
Half brother, half sister. Yeah. First time we've ever been able to do it, because it's only our third breeding season, I suppose.
Yeah.
Third. So this is the first time we've tried it, and it has worked. She's clean. She's got that, but she's small and quite elegant. She's You
couldn't ask for a swankier look, could you? Nice sweep away from the perch.
Yeah, she's just got it for some reason. I don't know.
Next year, with these babies that you've got are obviously quite closely related, will you outcross those to something new?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's the challenge we've got now. We need to know we need to figure out what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But this is it. I mean, this is all a learning thing. And I will say, a massive disclaimer, anything I've said in this, I'll probably look back in 2 years' time and think, oh my God, what were you saying? They got all wrong. But this is it, isn't it? You only learn by having a go and finding out, learning from mistakes. But yeah, I think we'll have a lot of brothers and sisters. Like I say, we've got 8 bar heads from him now. He's got 3 full eggs with her. They're fostered out safely, so he's a free agent, so to speak. So they're fine. So we might have about 12 of that pair, but we don't want to put them together. That's no good. That's too close. So we will. We'll definitely outcross. Yeah.
But I mean, with that number and that probably spread of an age group as well, from your oldest chick off them to well, you haven't even got some hatched yet, but it gives you time to try things, doesn't it? Because your oldest one will be ready. You could try something, and you haven't lost anything, because hopefully you've still got the quality at the end of that line to try something completely different.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. I think one of the things that the champions do have over the novice is that they'll have like 10 birds that look like that cinnamon grey. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've got one,
That's right.
And you're sort of worried, you don't want to make the wrong move and things like that. So I think that's what we'll have. The luxury we'll have next year is we won't be pinning all our hopes on one bird, hopefully.
Yeah.
Not in the show sense. I mean, in a breeding sense, Yeah, but that's who he's with now. Yeah. Right. This is a good one. Yeah. So the grand fat. That was let's call it the bird we bought. The basis of the stud is the one on the far left. That's the McFreaky cock who's sort of responsible for all this. So you can see he's quite small, and he's got that lovely capping. He's got a great mask, but he lacks a bit of spot. He's not stood up pretty well there, but he's quite swanky. And that's just 3 generations. I thought that was quite a fun way of showing it.
Yeah. So that's one of this year's youngsters, is it, on the end?
That's
Lovely.
right, yeah. So that's 3 generations, yeah.
You've widened the mask up, that's for sure. So
exactly, yeah. And them spots are slowly coming in now, so that's good. Because my worry for novices as well, like if you're going to pair half brother or sister up, you may double up on the previous generation's fault.
Yeah.
So the common ancestor was him, the small spotted cock that we brought in. So I was a bit concerned we might go backwards a step.
Yeah.
Thankfully, that's not happened.
No, I think you've been very brave. I think that just, gives us all hope, really.
Yeah, I sort of just trusted. I just trusted it. And if you didn't know they were half brother and sister, you'd have paired them up because she's got lovely mask, and is stylish. So I thought, well, let's just do it. Let's give this a go. They were well matched. But that's why we won't pair too close, because we could revert back to a small bird with small spots, and we don't want to do that.
No, that's it.
Yeah, and there's just a group of this year's barheads. So you can see we are overrun by cinnamons at the minute.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, nothing. Is that would you be worried?
No. I was 98% grey greens 3 years ago. I've hardly got a grey green in the shed now, if I'm honest.
Wow. It changed that quickly. So did you purposely do that? Or?
I paired grey green to grey green, and I never bred. No, that's not true. I bred a few grey greens, but a lot of them bred greys and blues. Everything must have been split blue.
Wow, that is incredible. Because you'd have thought you'd have got loads of greys, like double factor.
No. And I was heavy because my birds go back to a chap called Roy Aplin, the artist, and he was heavily cinnamon, and that's where my bird started from. So I was heavily cinnamon, then I was almost grey green, and now it's a real mixture. And I've even got violets, dark greens. I've got a real mixture of colours. So now I wouldn't worry.
Yeah, that's good to know that, because I'm a bit concerned. I was thinking, well, we're just going to end up with loads of cinnamon greys, maybe the odd cinnamon sky blue or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you say that it's fine, you didn't actively try and change it. Did you just pair for quality?
Yeah. I just went visual all the way through. The bird that stands out there is that. Is it a cinnamon hen? Second one from the right, tall one.
Yeah, that's right. It's actually a cock. That.
Oh, is it a cock bird?
I know what you mean. It does look off on. It's so hard to tell at that age.
Yeah.
But
that bird. Anybody would give their right arm to breed that. That is just lovely.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's from him. That's that half brother, half sister parent. Yeah. That's what we're dealing with at the minute.
Yeah. But again, I can say every single one of those again has got a different feature, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I wonder if I'd like to have an homogenous quality to my birds, I think. But then I was listening to Andrew Luke in the talk, and he said they like to have like different styles in the bedroom to bring together,
Yeah, I've got a couple of cinnamons that have popped out over the last couple of years. One of them hasn't got a tail, but that again doesn't worry me initially. If he breeds tailless, then they'll all go, but it's never happened to me yet. But they've got soft feather, which fits in well with the rougher feathered birds that I've got. So you do need a real mixture of feather
Yeah.
and features, and you've got it there. I mean, you know, the blue there, the cinnamon blue, looks really a soft, dense feather.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and they're all related. The two on the end, the two far right, the nice one stood up, and the one that's laid across the perch, a nest mate.
Yeah.
So what,
right.
you know, you got to think, where's this variation coming? Why is one stood like a soldier and one across? I know
And
it's younger, but it still does it.
I think that's because you're still breeding. I know they're related birds, but going further back, there are other people's crosses and outcrosses and other people's work. Do you know what I mean? So you going
Yes.
forward, you're gonna hopefully iron out that. I mean, you know, we all breed rubbish. We know that, you know. And why do you get one pet bird and one superior in a nest? And it's just the background. I'm sure it is, and it's the, you know, a bird. I always say, and a bird is split 50-50 for its parents.
Yeah.
So, and that those birds are only split 50-50 for the grandparents. And, you know, if you look at it that way, you can probably trace back the small spots or you know, the finer feathered, the yellow feathered birds, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, they might have had a grandmother who just sat on the perch like that, you know, and it's just popped out somehow.
That's right. But that one also looks very young as well.
It is. It still does sit a little bit like that, but I tell you what, it's not going anywhere. We're keeping it because it's just it's a hen. It's a hen, and it's we'll just keep an eye on this trade, you know.
Yeah.
But when the nestmate stands up straight as a soldier, then I mean,
you know as well as I do, you wouldn't pair a cock bird to that hen that sits across the perch, would you? You know,
don't double up on the fault. Yeah.
You will look at an upright soldier that looks like its sister.
Exactly.
Or his brother, sorry. You know,
yeah, so, and then the offspring of that need to go to a bird with good deportment again, just to double up on that. Don't go backwards. I think maybe that's what people do. They have they have good thought initially for the pairings. They get the offspring. Maybe their records weren't great, and then they've gone back again. They accidentally pair back by accident. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that happens a lot. I think
our birds are split for more than we ever realise, or are carrying more than we ever realise.
Yeah,
be honest. But
even if it's distant. Yeah. That's another one. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
They've got and that's finally we got a slightly different colour. That's a cinnamon cobalt, that, and it's a bit difficult to tell on that picture, but see that one straight away has the spot. Yeah. I don't know why, but it does. It doesn't have the little spot of like its father did it.
Yeah, but it's a very different feather again, isn't it? It's very long, very narrow feather, whereas your cinnamon cock is quite a broad feather, isn't it? So
So this is where we'll sort of filter, like I suppose it'll be great when they're all up on the perch, and we can, when we're deciding what to pair up next year, we can what do we like, what do we need, what can go. It'll be a nice position to be in.
I actually used hens I didn't like this year.
Wow,
but because they had such different feather, I couldn't avoid it. You know, it wasn't faults that I didn't like. I just didn't like the overall finish of the bird. You know, But a good friend of mine makes me see sense when I show him photographs. So he soon puts me right.
Sometimes you need someone else's eye because you can't see the wood for the trees sometimes.
That's right.
Having like again, if you're a beginner like us, having a champion, just have a look and say, that's not quite right. Or, your mask's getting a bit short, or or something like that. Or it's great. That's what you need. You need a mentor as well.
Yeah. And I think also going on masks is I'm a big believer in we've actually still not got birds with the right type of mask, because spots always used to be on the mask.
Yeah.
But now we seem to take that the mask can be a very long spot. So the actual mask, can you see, is my cursor showing? So to me, that whiteness there is the mask.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the spot, because the spot is no longer on the mask. So when I see these great big long inch long spots, but the actual white part of the mask is tucked up under the beak. I think we lost something somewhere. We've not got
Yeah,
it right. You
yeah,
know?
yeah, and that can easily be overlooked.
Yeah, fine
Yeah,
details. Yeah, fine details.
yeah,
But not
exactly.
saying I've got it anywhere near perfect at all, but it's something I keep an eye on. So,
Yeah, exactly. And
oh,
that's
and look,
yes, there's me and my dad. Yeah, so
yeah,
that's just the result of our sort of our lockdown project, or
yeah.
over COVID, and yeah, it was great for it all to come to fruition. Yeah,
Yeah.
we couldn't
And
believe it.
what did your dad is your dad sort of had the same enthusiasm as you for the win, or
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah,
he won't mind me saying, but I mean, like I say, he used to show in that, but like a little bit, and he never won a CC or anything like that. And I
no,
know people say, "Oh, CCs aren't worth the paper they're printed on now," and all this stuff, but just that was our goal. We just went, right. We'll try and win a CC or something. We'll try and do that, and then
well,
to do the
you're talking to someone that took 4 years to win a
yeah,
class, forget anything else. And then ever since, for a long time, up until we did the bird room, I used to keep all the labels that had a dot on.
yeah,
Didn't need to fit a card. I just want the dot. So
yeah.
yeah, look at this.
Yeah.
My good lady's bringing me a cup of tea, so that's good. Thank you
Oh,
very
excellent.
much.
I like it. Good
So
service.
yeah, so was that the last slide? Was it, or was there
That was the
more?
last slide. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it must be because my little arrow's gone.
Yeah.
So there we go. Yeah. Oh,
Really?
that was really good. I enjoyed that. That was a good way of looking through your birds and that, because let's face it, you've hit the limelight very quickly, and people won't know who you are, and so I thought a good opportunity to sort of tell everybody who you are and how you've got there, really.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Andy. It's been great. I mean, it's so nice to sort of tell people this sort of our story and that, and
Yeah,
I hope it encourages beginners, because you can do it. You know what I mean? You just
yeah,
enjoy the birds, get some nice birds, get ones you like,
yeah.
and get them paired up, and you never know. I mean,
Every day's a school day with them, isn't it? That's yeah,
absolutely. And the
yeah,
exhibition side is so much fun. Like, it is great, and it is accessible. There's plenty of birds. There's loads of birds in the country. Everyone's got nice birds, and there's always birds to go. And
right.
I think it's a really great hobby, and it's something that I can share with my dad.
Yeah, that's great. That is.
And so it's really nice.
Yeah,
I
no, that's
I
good.
think we should be promoting that side of it. It's something that you can do regardless of age or whatever. Or, I think
Yeah,
it's good.
we definitely need to bring more youngsters into the hobby, but with
Yeah,
the way society is and the way they build houses now, it's not. It's very difficult to have aviaries and things. I
yeah,
mean, I've been very lucky. I've been very lucky with my house moves. So
yeah. I mean, the other thing is, it teaches patience as well. Like,
oh,
I know everything's like happens now, happens yesterday, but in budgies you can't rush it.
no,
It teaches you to take your time, and
that's right.
you've got to wait a month sometimes for two birds to like each other, and
Yeah,
and
that's
then
right.
you've got to wait for them to hatch, and then they don't hatch, and then you've got to start again.
Yeah,
So it's no, it's good. It makes you slow down a little bit, and yeah,
I think if we also if everybody talks more about the problems, and we've got people like Kevin who are willing to do some of the study, some of the groundwork, I think then we will start to understand the faults and the problems far better and be able to deal with them as a hobby, rather than just staying cooped in and stewing on the problems, if that makes sense. Because I mean
yeah.
that's what I did.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone did, and then they came up with all these rules, and it was all hearsay and stuff. I think that's how it used to work, and
Yeah,
old wives' tales. But this is why the UKBC is amazing, because we've got a vet that breeds budgie guys. I mean, what more do you want?
yeah,
I mean,
that's right. That's right.
he's in it with us as well, and like I say, he helped us hugely last year with the Doxycycline. I mean,
Yeah,
just just get it, just listen to him. He's got the fact sheets there,
Yeah.
you know, for whatever ailment you might have. It's not a faux pas if you have mite or if you have, you know, whatever. It just doesn't matter. Just deal with it. Just
That's right.
ask questions, and people will help. You know, I think don't sort of just. I think that's why it's great that, you know, I use the forum a lot, like a hell of a lot. But now, as well as that, we've got the members groups, and
Yeah.
you can post and you can send Kevin a message, and or you can
No,
just post
I
a
mean,
group and people help.
that's right. I mean, Kevin's doing his question and answers on Saturday. I think it's this Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, so you can, any questions, you just type it away and he'll answer.
Yeah, it's great. So that's why I'm a member of the BS, of the UKBC, and I'm on the forum, because why not have as much information as possible? I mean, I'm not gonna pigeonhole myself.
No, definitely not.
No.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, I think we'll call that a wrap, as they say.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for your time. It was brilliant. And
thanks.
I've learned a bit as well. So, and
likewise. Thanks, Neil. Thank you.
Good luck for the future.
Thank you. And
thanks very much.
I look forward to talking to people on the Facebook group, and send us messages and whatever, and put your birds on. I love seeing all the birds. And
and you keep posting the development of those babies, because they look really nice.
Yeah,
really
thank you.
All right then, lovely.
Isn't it? Okay.
Thanks very much, Tim. Bye-bye.